Good morning. Welcome. I'm Reverend Jessica Clay, the lead minister of this congregation. My pronouns are she, her. Welcome to White Bear Unitarian Universalist Church. Oh, I'm not doing the welcome. Cecilia's doing it. I did it in the first one. So now I'm going to welcome Cecilia. So sorry.
Good morning. I'm Cecilia Dodge. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a member of our board of directors. Welcome to White Bear Unitarian Universalist Church. We are a community of youth, adults, and children of many diverse theologies, held together by covenant, not creed. Together, we work to build trust, search for meaning, and serve the world. May you know deep welcome and belonging in this place. We know that each Sunday we carry into this community hearts that are breaking, and others carry hearts with tender joy. If you wish to share a request for today's meditation, please place it in the chat box on Zoom before the opening hymn or add it to the meditation bowl. The meditation bowl is in the Soul Work Center, where people of all ages can find activities to help them engage with today's service. Welcome visitors. We're so glad you're here. We'll be having our Membership 1 class on April 13th at 12:30 for anyone interested in learning more about us. Please see Reverend Shea for details. As spring is blooming and we are all coming out of our winter hibernation, we gently remind you that parking is available in our lot on the south side of the Church of Maple Street and on Hallam. Be mindful of our neighbors' access to their driveways when parking on the side streets. If you're visiting with children, we do offer spiritual growth opportunities for our children and youth at the 11 a.m. service, this service. At both services, we offer nursery care. As always, your children are also welcome to stay with you during the service. We welcome the noises, movements, and joy that our little ones bring. Let's take a moment to wave to those who are online as well. Welcome, Zoomers. Welcome to our church. Together, we grow our souls and serve the world in love.
Good morning. My name is Reverend Shay McKay. My pronouns are she, her. And I invite you this morning to come in. Come into this place which we make holy by our presence. Come in with all your vulnerabilities and strengths, your fears and anxieties, loves and hopes. For here you need not hide, nor pretend, nor be anything other than who you are and who you are called to be. Come into this place where we can touch and be touched, heal and be healed, forgive and be forgiven. Come into this place where the ordinary is sanctified, the human is celebrated, the compassionate is expected. My friends, come into this place, for together we make it a holy place.
Good morning. My name is Kiara Kerrigan, and my pronouns are she, her. Recently, I've been thinking a lot about college and what I want to do with the rest of my life. I've been lucky enough to get to tour a lot of colleges and hear the stories of those around me to see what feels like the best fit for me. I'm really excited to move on to the next chapter of my life and have new experiences and meet new people. However, it's also kind of terrifying, thinking about leaving behind all I've ever known and going somewhere new. Especially to no longer be constantly surrounded by my friends and family and to become more independent. It's a very anxiety-provoking concept, but I also understand how important it is to be able to be on my own and become my own person. I'm so happy to have the opportunity to go to college, but like with all things, it's complicated. One of the vocab terms in my AP Psych class is an approach avoidance conflict. This occurs when a situation has both desirable and undesirable aspects. I feel like this relates to all parts of our lives, or parts of all of our lives, and I especially relate as a person who is horrible at making decisions. Although I know college is something I want to do, and I'm very sure I will like it, it's still scary. However, the communities I'm a part of make that fear a little less scary. My family, this church, and close friends remind me that no matter how far I go or what happens, I have people to come home to who will support me. I light this chalice for the communities that hold us up in times of joy and anxiety. Please join me in the opening words. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Thank you.
Please rise and bow to your spirit for the singing of our first hymn, which is number 108 in our gray hymnal, My Life Flows On, an Endless Song.
You can rise again in body or spirit for our story time this morning. For our story time this morning, we are going to bless Reverend Shay McKay as we welcome her back. For those who are visiting, our Associate Minister, Reverend Jack Gady, is on sabbatical until September 1st, and Reverend Shay McKay has graciously and kindly agreed to come and serve us part-time to help cover his absence. Reverend Shay, oh my gosh, this is a morning. If y'all heard in the 9 o'clock, I had another bit of my words are not coming out well today. Now you're Reverend K. Reverend Shay first served this congregation in 2016 and 17 as the Welcome Teams coordinator, and then as an assistant interim minister in 2017 and 18. Shay has most recently been working at a nonprofit supporting folks who are caregivers for people with dementia. She lives in Minneapolis with her wife, Reverend Diana McLean, their dog Gus, who is so cute, and their cat Maya, who I also love dearly. Shay and Diana have started an entrepreneurial ministry together called Sacred Depths that offers retreats and workshops for people who want to deepen their connection to the divine through creativity and contemplation. Reverend Shay also has a book coming out this summer called At the Edge of the Sea, which hopefully we'll hear a little more about, which is a collection of essays about everyday mysticism. And I go way back with Reverend Shay. We started seminary together back in 2013, just little baby seminarians with a lot less gray hair. And I'm so grateful for your holy yes to this congregation and to me. So for those who were here last week, we blessed Reverend Jack with a responsive reading for Passing the Mantle of Ministry, written by Reverend Eric Kamenetsky, and we adapted it today to bless Reverend Shay. And so your part of this is we bless ourselves and Reverend Shay as we continue our journey. Now is the time to embody change. As the seasons change, so do we all. Now is the time to change. As our congregation celebrates this point of inflection, we say our intentions aloud. We bless ourselves and Reverend Shay as we continue our journey. We weave the cloth of community from the strands of our individual lives. The warp and weft reveal the patterns. We are the weavers, we are the woven. Our cloth is beautiful and sturdy. Bless ourselves and Reverend Shay as we continue our journey. There is a time to till, to plant, to harvest. There is a time for some to lie fallow while others carry the load. In this way, the work of community carries on. This, says theologian Howard Thurman, is the rhythmic ebb and flow of one's powers, simply this and nothing more. Over time, the reins of community are tended by us all. We hand them off to one another. We see one, we do one, we teach one. In this way, the work of community carries on. We entrust you, Reverend Shay, with our cares, our joys, our sorrows, our gifts and challenges. We bless ourselves, Reverend Shay, as we continue our journey. We remain ever faithful to our mission and to each other, knowing that we are all just walking each other home, as Ram Dass says. It is good to be together with you, Reverend Shay. We are a different people than you last knew us. We know you are different too. We look forward to learning about each other with curious and open hearts. We bless ourselves and Reverend Shay as we continue our journey. Reverend Shay, we thank you for serving us in this interim time. We will work to support your ministry, recognize you are part-time and respect your boundaries, and recognize the gifts and challenges of impermanence with your sabbatical coverage.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Am I on? Yeah. I'm on. Thank you for this part-time job. It's an honor to be back amongst you. I am especially enjoying the very warm welcome, so thank you all. For those of you that are new to me, I look forward to getting to know you. And for those of you that I already know, I look forward to getting to see you and be with you again. I'm honored to be on this journey with you for the next 5 months. Thank you, and let's go.
And so I have a few gifts before we all do a rousing welcome together. For Shay, the first gift is Brock's spiced jelly beans, which you will hear more about in my sermon, to remind you that some of us are spicy, some of us are not everyone's cup of tea, but there's still sweetness. And, speaking of tea, a jar of honey from one of our members to remind you that there are gifts among us, and we look forward to sharing them with you. And then last but not least, my favorite Pema Chodron book, Living Beautifully with Uncertainty and Change, which is really, I recommend it to everyone. Some of you know I've given this to you. I keep extras in my office to help us all through this time. So thank you, and there's a card in there too. So thank you, and can we all give Reverend Shea a welcome? Oh, let's sing our children out. Sorry about that. Go lift it up.
When we come together every week, we gather in a time and a space in which we want to hold the cares of our community together, both our joys and our sorrows, our accomplishments and our failures. We come here into the embrace of this community, knowing that we are safe to be held. Today, we hold in care from our community all who loved longtime WBUUC and choir member Barbara Britton. May her memory be a blessing. We hold Polly Mayerding Diedrich in recovering well from a hip replacement. Prayers for continued healing and ease of recovery. We ask to be held our son whose friend died by suicide. Prayers for our friend Rachel and her mother as she heals from knee surgery. And Carrie G was recently diagnosed with breast cancer. She is grateful for early detection and a great team of doctors, and is asking this community to hold for her healing vibes, love, and energy, and strength. We know that when we come together, sometimes we have words for what we're holding in our hearts, and sometimes we don't. And sometimes we want to speak those things out loud into a chorus of voices to be held. So I invite you now, anything that you are holding in your hearts, speak into this space. Take a deep breath with me. As we pray. Loving Spirit, Creative fire source that breathes and moves through all things, be our breath now. Be our breath as we move throughout this world. Still our minds so that we may hear the divine, the holy, and the sacred speak in all of creation, and tune our hearts to the rhythm of nature, to the rhythm of love. We gather today hearts filled with hope and determination after the incredible rallies that were held around our country yesterday. The thousands and thousands and thousands of people that we know now are working towards the same goals that we have. All of us called to stand for justice and the rights of all of us raising our voices to be heard, not in anger, but in powerful compassion and a call for justice and truth. We ask that our actions be guided by our principles, by our values, by our morals of wisdom and nonviolence. We ask that we create a world where every person is treated with dignity and respect. Let us remember that our faith calls us out into the world to speak truth and justice. And let us also remember that our faith calls us back here into this community every week to be held, to rest, to reflect, and to re-nourish our souls, our spirits, and our hearts for the work we are called to do. May it be so, and amen.
May remain seated for the singing of our next hymn, which is number 16 in your gray hymnal, "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple."
We pause at this moment in the service for a couple of announcements and invitations to engage within the life of this community. This Wednesday, all are welcome at our community meal at 5:30, followed by intergenerational game night, choir practice, and our board meeting. Dinner is a taco bar, which will be delicious. In music news, Music on Maple invites you to our Earth Day concert with Peter Mayer, April 22nd at 7 p.m. The link for the tickets is in the wraparound, your order of service, and in the e-news. It's sure to be a wonderful concert. Now I invite up WBUUC members Mark Duvall and Cheryl Riley for an announcement.
Distracted by this beautiful weather.
Oh, I agree. So what's up with you?
Well, it looks like we can hopefully be saying goodbye to winter after all, and spring is here. I'm just so excited about that.
You know, me too. The other day I thought, I'm going to open all the windows, I'm going to get out my cookbooks, and I'm going to fix a meal and invite some friends over.
Great idea, but did you know that you could do that and also raise money and community for the church?
Really? How would I do that?
Well, it's time for dining for dollars. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. When we're looking for hosts, far and near. We can provide meals and food-oriented events to be offered May through October until our fall auction events start. And then we can have a meal to bid on too.
Oh, that is just, I like that idea. But tell me more about how I would do it.
Oh, it's easy. We have a website that you can go to and just sign up with what you want to offer, when, and how many people you'd like to come, the value of the meal. It would be posted in the church newsletter, our e-bulletin, on signs around the church, and available, information table will be outside the hall after our service and between services. And you can sign up until April 22nd, when hosting signups will end, and the 23rd, when bidding will start. Does that make sense?
It does, and it sounds like a perfect combination of cooking, entertaining, and raising some money for the church. I want to do it.
And community, isn't that wonderful?
It is. Now, is everything a meal?
Well, that's the point then. So now you can offer fun activities like bird watching with a breakfast maybe, or a boat ride with appetizers. Oh, that sounds good. A picnic and a hike, maybe a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It doesn't have to be complicated, right?
No, I love
One year
picnic
there
too.
was poetry and pie, just saying, you know? And the items, inexpensive and lavish. It's whatever calls you. And, game night with kids, I would bid on that. I know that was
I'm a
offered
kid
in
at
the
heart.
past.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh,
Or
fun.
Legos, everyone's a kid at heart, right?
Yeah.
And if no kids, well, this is our kid community here. This is our
We could
our
borrow some
church.
kids.
We can borrow some kids.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Borrow some kids, yeah.
All right.
Just,
Yeah. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You've sold me. But what should I fix? Do you have any ideas?
Well, Matt, I hear you and Jim are taking a trip to France. That might provide some inspiration. Why not a French dinner?
Oh, c'est bon. Yeah.
Bon appetit,
Yeah.
huh?
Okay. But
Yeah.
hey, if I'm going to do this, what about you? What are you and Evelyn going to fix?
Forgot to. Well, you know what? I'll just have to think about that and sign up. And I'll do that out at the table after the service.
Okay, and I'll bid on that one.
It'll be
Okay.
good, you know that.
All right.
Thank you.
See ya.
Get ready to.
Thank you, Mark and Cheryl. We appreciate your generosity and the spirit that you bring to your co-chairing in this effort. Now is the moment in our service when we practice gratitude and support in the form of giving to our offering plate. The gifts collected today will go to support WBUUC Ministers Discretionary Fund. This fund helps anyone in need. In the past year, we have helped pay rent, mortgages, hotel rooms for unhoused families, holiday presents for families, car repairs, car insurance, and phone bills, to name a few. This fund enables those in need to call and be met with a yes. We all know how hard it is to ask for help. This fund helps those within our church and the wider community in difficult economic circumstances to be able to receive support. Thank you for donating today. There are a couple of ways to give. You can give the text to give feature, the numbers on your screen. You can give on the website, or you can place cash or a check in the offering basket. Please note the key word fund. Thank you for your generosity and your faith in this life we live together. The offering will now be gratefully collected.
Our reading today is a poem by Lynn Unger entitled April 5th. I don't know how this all turns out, and neither do you. But I have to confess, it doesn't look good. I wish we were headed for a picnic, for a waltz in the park. I wish we were not ruled by broken men who want to damage everything that they cannot possess. I wish I could tell you what we do now. The street is littered with the petals of cherries that bloomed before the big wind came. Tonight there will be frost and tender buds will burn. But still, the woods are unfolding into green, and just outside my door, some frog is bellowing for all his worth. Who knows what happens next? All I can tell you is that the fields are ablaze with dandelions who have never known the meaning of defeat.
May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of their hand. Beautiful. Thank you. How many of you have heard this Irish blessing before? It was nearly unanimous at the first service. I did some research to find the origins of this blessing. It's been part of my existence since I could read, printed on tea towels and cross-stitched on walls in relatives' houses. I'm pretty sure I bought some of those tea towels when I was in Ireland as well. What my research found is that no one can tell where it actually came from. But the first part of the phrase, may the road rise to meet you, is a mistranslated bit of a Gaelic phrase that is often said in parting. I am not going to say the Gaelic because you don't want me to murder it. Instead of may the road rise to meet you, it's actually translated as may your life or journey be successful. A farewell of sorts maybe the Irish version of safe travels. And as I said earlier, Ram Dass famously said, we're all just walking each other home. What a journey of a week we have had walking each other home, huh? Woo! And so last Sunday, we said goodbye to Reverend Jack as he began his sabbatical. Although he did text the staff on Tuesday and said, I'm going to be late to staff meeting as an April Fool's. Still got a sense of humor, that one. And today we blessed Reverend Shea as she returns to us to serve this congregation while he's gone. Each of these journeys are interwoven with the fabric of this congregation as we continue to move forward together. And what's true is that time feels very amorphous and strange right now. I bought tickets for an event in September a few days ago and had this thought in my head of, what's the world even going to be like in September? What's our country going to be like? Thinking about Jack returning, what will we have lived through together? In times of great trauma and life shifts, it's hard to put into words the ways that time can feel like a visceral gut punch and completely out of our grasp. And we're going through the motions of trying to tend to our daily lives, trying to figure out what amount of news we can take, trying to make plans, trying to figure out what level of emotional and physical engagement with the world we can handle. And daffodils are still bursting from the earth. The tulips in my garden are showing their first leaves. Buds are appearing on the trees to remind us of the promise of spring, to remind us that growth is still possible. Joy is our theme this month, and joy is so complicated right now. In the midst of all that is happening in our country, babies are still being born. Children are experiencing milestones. Couples are getting married. People are putting themselves out there to date. People are making new friendships. Remember, all of these things are true right now. Václav Havel says, hope is an orientation of spirit, and I add to that, joy is an orientation of spirit too. Joy and hope are siblings that bring life meaning. And right now we have to work harder to seek out joy, to notice it, to remain open to it. In the Book of Joy, written by Douglas Abrams with the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who's read this book? Okay, this is a great book. So if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. So in this book, Douglas Abrams, the whole book is a series of interviews with the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu about joy and how they've oriented their hearts towards it in the midst of so much suffering and trauma. So on the chapter on despair, which you know I went there this week, Douglas Abrams asked the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu, how can we be joyful when there's so much despair in the world and so many reasons to live in fear? And they said they believe that humans are inherently good. This is the way to access joy in the midst of suffering. And as Unitarian Universalists, we believe in the fundamental inherent worth within each person. That each person has the capacity for goodness. Now, for those of you that are having a counter argument in your head right now, this doesn't mean that they're choosing that goodness, but they have the capacity for it. Right now, fascism and what's happening in our government tells us we don't have choices. It tells us to be hopeless. The apathy that they are generating is seductive, and hope and joy tell us we can still do something. Hope and joy is when we walk each other home, when we wish each other safe travels, when we say, may the divine hold you in the palm of their hand, which feels like a warm hug, which feels like connection. These past few weeks, when I met with people one-on-one, or I see you on Sunday mornings, and I say, how are you? I just said it at coffee hour in between services, and people go, you know, and they say, well, this is what's good that's happening in my personal life, but then there's everything else. And I feel it too, a general sense of impending doom. with these flashes of joy that are temporary and sometimes don't feel real. I feel joy when I see you all gathering here, and then alternatingly in the quiet hours of the evening, despair often takes over. It coincides with my checking out of the news. I see the correlation there. So today I'm here to remind you, even in the midst of it all, we can choose joy, but it's difficult and it requires effort. And most of us are struggling right now. You're not alone in your rage, in your fear, in your anxiety, and in your despair. And joy is still showing up. I had so much joy this week watching Cory Booker. Remember that happened this week? Yes. I showed my daughter Nori and said, "This is what democracy looks like." And I was trying to get her to repeat it after me. It gave me life for about 24 hours. And then I was talking to a friend a few days later, and she was gushing with hopefulness. And I was like the sadness character in the movie Inside Out, full of disbelief, but I told her, "You hold the hope for both of us." I felt joy last night when I heard how many people gathered yesterday. Nearly 20 blocks in Manhattan, 100,000 people in Boston, 10,000 people in Salt Lake City, which is a lot for Salt Lake City. And estimates here are for 25,000 people. Yes. And I know many of you were there representing those of us who were not there. So if you were there yesterday, would you raise your hand, please? Yes. Yeah. I had people come up to me after the first service and say, "That was the first protest I've ever gone to, and I'm filled with so much hope." This is hopeful. This is joyful. And for all those people that gathered, there were many more who didn't feel safe too. So if you didn't raise your hand, that is okay. Maybe your body or your mind wasn't able to. Maybe you had other plans, but we all support those who were there. All of us coming together to say, this isn't right. Marching is about holding the hope for each other. It's letting people know you aren't alone. This is what we do for each other. We hold the hope. A few weeks ago in worship, we sang, "I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find." We can remind each other that we still have choices, that we are in this together. Joy is kindled in social justice movements and in personal connections, with a fierce love binding us together and reminding us we are responsible for each other. Remember, I want you to bring our minds back 5 years to the beginning of the pandemic, how it caused many people to reach out to beloveds in ways they hadn't previously. People were having coffee dates or happy hours over FaceTime, taking up the ancient practice of writing letters again, rekindling friendships when faced with the fragility of life. What if this horror that we're living in right now, what if the anger, the sadness, and apathy we're all carrying was fueled into caring for each other, into bringing joy to each other? What if it caused us to recommit to personal and political actions from a place of joy and hope? Because when I read that Cory Booker's office received 28,000 voicemails the day after his marathon action, you bet I was joyful that I was one of them. He's still listening to them. And this week has been a roller coaster of joy, hope, sorrow, rage. We've gone through all the emotions this week. And we still have our daily lives to tend and care for. What we do right now, what we choose, it matters. This doesn't mean that every moment is infused with brilliant joy or deep meaning. We still have to empty the dishwasher, do the laundry, or brush our teeth. So I found this comic from the New Yorker that has someone standing at the dishwasher, and it says, "Realizing that not every moment in life will be deep or meaningful or vibrating with energy that would give him the fulfillment that he'd always hoped for, Todd unloaded the dishwasher." This is our lives as well. And we come to our congregations to be reminded that choosing a life of intention means that We are choosing each other and choosing to cultivate spiritual practices that ground us in the present, that remind us of our interconnectedness and of our responsibility to each other. So today, my friends, those online too, you have homework, if you choose to accept it. Yes, I'm telling you what to do with a gentle invitation. Remember that fighting fascism, taking action against what's happening right now, it looks different for everyone. Some of you may have been at the march yesterday, as we saw, and some of you just didn't have it in you. There are other ways to fight fascism. I am still trying to keep with the no target for Lent boycott, and it is a struggle, and not everyone can do that. And so I offer another plug, I've said this before, for Jessica Craven's Chop Wood, Carry Water email list. Chop Wood, Carry Water, Jessica Craven. She emails this list 5 days a week, and it has 5 simple actions that you can take each day. She says, here's who to call, here's what to say. Makes it very easy. I have received these weekday action emails ever since I first heard about them a couple of months ago, and do you think I'm making those calls every day? No. I'm human. We're all human. And today I'm recommitting to take those actions, and I'm asking you to commit with me. So for your homework, please take action. And secondly, know that there's no one right way to be right now. We have these full lives that are happening in the midst of what's going on in our country. Our hearts can be broken and filled with joy all at the same time, and that's okay. But today, part of your homework is to choose joy whenever and wherever possible. So, speaking of choosing joy, recently I was telling some friends about my love of spiced Brock's jelly beans. As you saw, I gave Reverend Shea a bag. These are not the plain ones. So if you're like, I've had jelly beans, if you haven't had the spiced ones, you don't know what you're missing. I'm just telling you. And so my friends were in disbelief of how amazing they are. In fact, I was texting with Shay last night saying, do you like spiced jelly beans? And she said yes, and I was so happy about that. So my friends who had never heard of them were in disbelief of how amazing they are, so I mailed each of them a bag. Support the post office. So one texted me and said a third of her bag was already gone, and how much joy they were bringing her. Another said hers were stolen off her porch. I know. But just the fact that I sent them to her made her feel like she was receiving a warm hug. Now, does this mean that you all should go mail each other spiced jelly beans? I mean, no, unless you want to. And I don't have any stock in Brock's, I just want to say. I don't know about their work practices either, so take this endorsement for what it is. But it's a reminder that we still have choices each day. We can still choose to bring joy to another. This is how we're going to get through this, however long this lasts, by going towards each other, by choosing joy, by taking actions, whatever we have the bandwidth for, and pushing ourselves a little bit for a little more, setting intentions, and also committing to those spiritual practices that ground you and that cultivate joy. Because God, that thread that connects us, that says you are a part of divine stardust, is found in joy. It's found in caring for each other. It's found in hope. Remembering that we're not alone, that love is what guides us, and that we're bound up together and held in the palm of God's hand, as the Irish blessing says. God, or love, is what we bring into being when we choose each other and when we make space to center and connect to ourselves and that which brings us meaning. So this book ends with practices for the morning and evening each day. With all of the theological differences in this congregation, I know there are many theological differences here, these spiritual practices are for everyone. Another invitation for ways to tend to your spirit right now. So I'm going to briefly touch on them, but there are papers at the small pulpit or podium on your way into the social hall, and they are also at the Welcome Center as well, if you want to take them home to remind you. The morning practices are about being present and asking yourself, What's my heart's desire? What do I wish for myself, my loved ones, and for the world? And then you state an intention for the day. For example, today may I greet everyone with love that's in my heart, or today may I be a little less judgmental. That's it, intention setting for the day. And then for the evening practices, it's about reflecting on your day, paying attention to your emotions, accepting your experience, being gentle with yourself if you didn't carry that intention through the whole day, practicing gratitude and rejoicing in your day and looking towards tomorrow. After the introduction of these practices in the Book of Joy, the author Douglas Abrams says, do not lose yourself in these isolating practices to remember that the main message of the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu's teachings is the source of true joy is our relationships with other people. He implored us to seek out our own communities of love and practice and bring the teachings of joy to them in whatever way is meaningful. He ends the book by saying, relationship is the true proving ground for spirituality. Ultimately, joy is not something to learn, it's something to live. And our greatest joy is lived in deep, loving, and generous relationships with others. So today you had several invitations to take action, to seek joy, and to recommit to spiritual practices that cultivate joy. But this invitation is done in community. You don't do any of these alone. You could find someone in coffee hour, maybe, someone or a group, and be each other's accountability partners. And you could even reward each other with spiced jelly beans, just a suggestion. We're all just walking each other home, one day at a time. A blessing of care, support, and successful journeys is what centers our love in actions towards ourselves and each other. And each day, we can and are entitled to joy. Yes? Yes. Yes. All right. With joy, may we rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, Let It Be a Dance, number 311. Time for joy. Oh, am I on? Let it be a dance we do. May your dance be from joy, from connection, from righteous rage, from going towards each other and remembering you are not alone. May you take that with you, take that centering of love with you, find it in each other within this place, and then take it out into the world. And know that we are all in this together, and we will keep on marching in all of our unique ways together. Forgot an announcement. If you are visiting today and are interested in learning about this congregation, please go to the Fabric Wall. We'll be doing a 12-minute intro and tour. And now, will you turn and introduce yourself to your neighbor and invite them to coffee hour?